I am live on Facebook as well. So I was just telling the people on Instagram that today I am doing both Facebook Live with y'all and Instagram Live with y'all. This is my first Instagram Live. So hey, everybody. This is really exciting and a little bit overwhelming, which is the theme of what I'm going to be talking about today. So for those people on Instagram that might have no idea at all, most Thursdays at this time, noon Eastern time, I jump on Facebook Live and talk about something that has to do with personal development. And today I am talking about overwhelm. And I'm going to tell you what I think are three great questions to ask yourself if you're feeling overwhelmed, because I think overwhelm is one of those universal things that we all feel, right? Before I jump in, hi, I'm Andrea Owen. For those of you who don't know, I run the joint over here at Your Kick-Ass Life. I am so happy to be here. And I have 2 books, 52 Ways to Live a Kick-Ass Life, and more recently, this bad boy, How to Stop Feeling Like Shit, which I know many of you are new to me and you found me this way. I've been doing this for about 10 years now, and I love all things personal development. The vast majority of my audience is women who struggle in the areas of perfectionism and people pleasing and overachieving, isolation, all the things that are in this book if you read it. And I help them cultivate courage and confidence instead. So many things involved in that, right? So today I'm going to be talking about overwhelm. Give me just a second here to pull up my notes to make sure I don't forget anything, because I tend to go off on these side tangents and then end up not talking about what exactly it was that I wanted to talk about. So have you ever heard yourself saying things like, how do I find life balance? I feel like I'm being pulled in so many different directions. There's so many things I need to do or that I want to do and I just don't have time. I'm feeling so overwhelmed. First and foremost, there's kind of a thing that you might hear in personal development a lot where it is, you might hear something like overwhelm's a choice, right? Raise your hand if you've heard that. Give me a like or a heart or a comment or emoji, a raised hand emoji if you have heard that. Your overwhelm is a choice. And I remember hearing that and feeling like, wait a minute. I feel like yes and no, because there's 2 different kinds of overwhelm. I think that there is emotional overwhelm, which can happen to anyone, right? You have all of these things coming at you at once. Maybe there is something really stressful going on in your life. So you're dealing with some kind of grief. You're dealing with maybe 1 or 2 friends that has something going on and you are there for them. That can be emotionally overwhelming. And I don't think that we are at choice when it comes to that. I think that our emotions are part of the human experience. And for so many of us who struggle with actually allowing our emotions in and processing it and those types of things, we can feel emotionally overwhelmed. So I don't want people to feel like when they're in that place of emotional overwhelm, it's all their fault. I'm going to take my glasses on and off because I see that there's the glare, but then I need them to see my notes. So if that's you, if you're feeling emotionally overwhelmed, it's part of the human experience. Don't beat yourself up over it. And the other part of overwhelm is the logistical overwhelm, right? It's the so many things that you have on your plate and you don't know how you're going to fit it all in. I'm getting lots of hearts over there on Instagram because we all tend to have that in one form or time or another, or maybe all the time. Maybe you feel like that's your baseline. So if that's you, or even if you just have the logistical overwhelm sometimes, then this is for you. All right, so I have this fancy thing. Hey, everybody on Facebook, that I'm going to try to do and actually talk at the same time, because I have 3 questions I want you to ask yourself when it comes to thinking about and dealing with your logistical overwhelm. And the first one is, what is actually a priority? Okay. Where do I even start with this? I have so many examples. I think that so many times we say things like, I really want to write that book. I want to start my business. I want to work on my marriage. I want to make more friends in my community. And of course you want all those things, and they take work and they take effort and intention and, putting yourself out there and all of the emotions that come along with that. And if it really is a priority, ask yourself, are you treating it as a priority? So a personal example, I have not worked out in months. I have a background in fitness. I know what I need to be doing. I have everything at my disposal here I have like basically a home gym, and I haven't made it a priority. And I could sit here and tell you all of the excuses that I have. All of them are noble. And you would all be like, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot on your plate, Andrea. No wonder. The bottom line of it is that I have not made it a priority. I haven't put it on my calendar. Haven't at all. So that's the question. What is actually a priority in your life? And listen, I get it. I have 2 elementary age children. I run a company. I, work on my marriage. I have a dog, like all of these things. I volunteer for the PTA and like all of these things. So I get having a lot on your. One of my groups was mentioning that if it is, like that she hates it when people say that. She said like there was this dude, it was like a single dude was saying that. And she's like, he doesn't have the type of time that I do. And I'm like, oh, I totally get it. Me too. I get irritated when people try to say like, oh, you have all the time in the world, you're not making it a priority. However, there is some truth to that. Like, yes, people that have full lives in terms of being held responsible to a lot of people, you might have less time, but you still have priorities, right? So that's the very first question. What is actually a priority? And the second question to ask yourself is, please hold, because it's hard for me to do 2 things at the same time. Let's keep talking. What are you saying yes to that you really don't need to do or that you don't want to do? Okay. If you read my book, I think it's chapter 7 where I talk about, yes, it is. It's chapter 7, talking about people pleasing and approval seeking. And so many of us say yes to things that we don't want to do because we want people to like us, because we don't want people to be mad at us, because we feel like we need to reciprocate in some way. And that leads to our overwhelm. So another personal example, I am on the PTA this year. I'm on the board. I have been the last 2 years. And this year it's been especially challenging because I've been traveling so much with the book tour and all of these things. So I've made the PTA a priority because I said yes to it. So now going forward, so right now they're in talks about like who's going to stay on the PTA for the next school year. And I'm having to make that decision. And if I said yes, it would primarily be because I feel like they need me. And I feel like I don't want to let them down. And if, there's that voice that's like, if you say no, then what's going to happen? And somebody might be mad at you and all of these, like worst case scenario. But the reality of it is I don't want to be on it next year. I want to make other things a priority, like working out, like writing my next book. And I feel like if I spread myself too thin, I'm half-assing everything. I'm half-assing the PTA. I'm half-assing writing my book and working out and all of these things. So I am taking it off my plate. I am going to actually say no to it. All right. The last question to ask yourself about overwhelm is because we tend to, why is the computer doing this? Because we tend to, I shouldn't say we, that's a sweeping generalization. Sometimes some of us make things a bigger deal than they really are. So the third question to ask yourself is, what are you actually making a bigger deal than it really is? So one of the things I get really overwhelmed with is email. I know there's some of you out there, like raise your hand, who like you can keep like 300 or 1,000 emails, unopened emails in your inbox, or you, I would show you my phone, but I'm using it right now. Like you're like unlistened to voicemails and text messages, people that have like 74 unread text messages. How do you do that? I can't. It causes me so much anxiety. So when my inbox gets more than like 20 or 25 unread emails, I am like, oh, I have so many emails that I need to return. And the truth of it is, if I sat down and went to inbox 0, it would take me 15 to 30 minutes. But instead, what am I making a priority? Scrolling through Instagram, saying hi to y'all. Scrolling through Facebook, saying hi to y'all. Nonsense, really. And that is really my question to you. What are you actually making up that's bigger than it really is? Are you looking at your entire to-do list and feeling like it needs to be done right now or by the end of today, Thursday? No, you don't. And so what can you break down into smaller pieces to make it feel less overwhelming? Okay. I am so excited that this worked and my phone did not fall off of it's on one of those like suction things. So far, so good. Just don't bump it. And I also wanted to tell you guys that let's see, what is today? Today's Thursday. We have 2 days left for early bird registration for Raise Hell. If you are on Instagram, that link is in my bio. I am going to pop the link into Facebook here in just a minute. It is a 4-month group program that I am doing this year that I am so incredibly excited about. Guess what we're going to be talking about at length? What I just talked about, your priorities, your everyday habits. What are you saying yes to that you don't want to be saying yes to? What are you saying no to that you actually want to do? What are your values? Are you following your life and honoring what's actually important to what you want? It's a 4-month group program for women, and we have weekly calls and accountability groups because I feel that that is super important. That is actually optional. You don't have to, but it is an offer that we're putting together for you as part of the group. And there's, of course, an amazing face group. And when that is done in June, you also get invited to my alumni group where I do monthly Q&A videos. I continue to answer your questions as you have them. And let's see what else. I'm just pumped about it. We start on Monday. A couple dozen of you have already signed up and are ready to start. And it's at yourkickasslife.com/raise-hell. If you're actually ready to do the work. I talk about this all the time. If you guys listen to my podcast, you can consume all the information. You can listen to the podcasts, read the books, follow people, inspiring people on social media. But when it comes to actually changing your life, you need to do the work. And maybe that is doing a workbook on your own. Maybe that is going to therapy and following the strategies and things that your therapist is working with you on. And maybe it's doing things like this, because that is what I love, is to break it down in easy to digest and implement steps. And I'm there for you. I'm guiding you. All of your questions are answered by me in this small group, and I would love to have you. So this has been so fun. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. And I'm here most Thursdays. I'm also going to be doing a kind of Q&A about Raise Hell, like frequently asked questions, to see if it's right for you if you're not sure, tomorrow, Friday, on Facebook. And I might do it here on Instagram too. That'll be fun, at noon Eastern time. And thank you so much, everybody, for being here. So I have no idea how to turn. Okay, there's the Instagram one. Thank you, everybody, on Facebook and Instagram. And until next time, I will see you out in cyberspace. Bye-bye.